I've just brought the Pinter out from the shed. I did have, the first brew was the Belgian Saison. It was okay, it was nice, it was okay. So I've just cleaned it out. Now, when you clean this out, hot water, you can get your hand in there with a sponge. Hot water, swirl round, get your hand in with a sponge. And you know, you have to do these things because there's no easy way of cleaning it. I've set it to off. Now I'm going to put it back to ferment because we're going to clean it now. We're going to sterilise it. So I've stuck it on ferment, on carbonated rather. So I've already boiled the kettle once. Here's the kit that I'm doing today, space hopper. So it's an all-in-one. I'm going to do it the homebrew way, not the instructions on the Pinter website. So there it is, space hopper. We'll talk about that in a minute. Obviously you've got your yeast, your fresh brewing yeast. And most importantly, you've got your purifier. Now, with this purifier, it tells you just to stick it in. Now, me being me, it didn't dissolve, did it? You need hot water for it to dissolve. So we'll do it with, this is why, we're going to do it the homebrew way. So, jug, kettle's boiled, here it is, and all it is granules. They do not ferment in cold water. They do not dissolve in cold water. So we're going to get the kettle that's already boiled. We're going to add it to these. There we go. Already, it's deadly. Therefore, we're going to stir it round. Nice and frothy, but that's what it's supposed to do. You know, it didn't dissolve last time, so the first time I brewed it, it didn't dissolve. Now it's doing what it's supposed to do on the can. And as you can see, there's none left in the bottom. I'll show you. Just swill out this now with some lukewarm water. Right, there we go. Clean, all gone, all dissolved. That's where the instructions were wrong. Here we go. Put this about way around. Screw this back on. Obviously, I've already took off the handle and the black fascia. And then I'm going to get that so it sits perfectly upwards. Push that down. So that's going uphill, perfectly uphill. Is it? Or is it a bit too much? I suppose it matters. It is uphill. Right. None coming out apart from a bit of water that was already left in. We're going to put the brewing dock on. It's that way around, isn't it? Oh dear, it's been a few days. Right. Oof. Right, so that's got to go with that. There we go. You have to line up the arrows. You've got the bits that stick out, and then you've got the bit on the dock that also, and you have to push it down and then gentle, and then give that a good swirl. That will also go into the brewing dock because the brewing dock has gone through the pressure. So turning it like that, it will go into and sterilise both sides, which is what you want. So just double check on I've not missed any instructions. Yeah. Rinse with water afterwards. So yeah, like me when I'm doing my homebrew, it's rinse with water. So this is doing its thing. So we're going to boil the kettle. Because again, in the brewing side of things, it doesn't tell you anything about making the water a bit warmer. And again, as most home brewers know, for the yeast to get doing, it needs to be a bit of warmth in there. So anyway, here's the kit. Space Hopper DIPA. Aromas of citrus and hoppy. ABV once brewed 7%. The good friend Travel and Brews did say to put 100 grams of sugar in to make sure you get that 7%. I'm not going to on this one, but I will do. I've got 2 of these, so I will do on the second one. Golden colour with slight haze, strong, intense hop flavour and aroma, but with enough malt in the back to balance things out. Carbonation dial setting is carbonated. Brewing time 5 days. Conditioning time 3 days. And I'm going to brew for a week. So they haven't got a long date on. So be very wary when you buy these, not to go too heavy on buying lots of kits. If you've only got one pinter and one brewing dog. If you've got 2 pinters, you might get away with more kits. But we'll be very wary of that. You know, pause your subscriptions, which I'm going to do. That's when I remember to do it one night. So it says fermenting Space Hopper for 7 days in total and conditioning for 7 days will increase clarity and dryness and produce a more rounded flavour. Well, I'm not in no rush because I've got plenty of beer, as you know, beer reviewer, lots of beer. But yeah, so I'm going to brew for 7 anyway, and I'm also going to condition for 7. Well, sort of. So that's boiled. This has had a few minutes there. It doesn't really need any longer than a few minutes, you know. So I'm going to take this off over the sink. And there we go. That's a load of the sterilising fluids just come out. I'm now going to give it a quick... I'd already cleaned this, to be fair, straight after brewing. So just let the water get hot. Because obviously, when you brew, that brewing dock's got to be as clean as the inside has. Because when you brew, the yeast goes into there and it brews basically from that in some ways. It's clever. Clever little way of doing it. Right, I'm going to lift this up now. I'm going to unscrew the top. Like so. First things first, I'm going to rinse out the lid. So yeah, now the lid's rinsed out as well. Ready for that side of things. And there is some fluid in there, so I'm going to pour the rest of it away. It's had a good swirl round. I'm now going to pour hot water into it in the sink. So much at the start, just get a good swirl round again, you know. It's like a big thermos flask in some ways. I'm not sure if it's metal or plastic or what it is, but that has now given it a good swill out. It's clean and it's all done. And what I didn't realise last time, that it says fill to the line. Now I think, what chuffing line? Now, I didn't see a line. And if you just look there you go, you can just see the line. Did I know there was a chuffing line there? No, I was running for the wrong side. So, you know, learning all the time, that's life, we all learn. So, we're going to pour this bad boy in. Pop this top open. Very gloopy. Oh, okay now. Oh, baby. Oh, sounds like me in the morning. Yeah, I did this morning, but that's another story. Not ready for this camera. Oh, dear, the mess. It was like a war zone. Right, I'm going to pour some hot water in there now, somehow. Now, as all homebrewers know, and you will find out yourselves, that you need to make sure that this container is as clean as you can get, because this is the stuff that brews the beer. So you can't be leaving the container all manky, because you'll be getting no beer. So I've screwed it on, and now I'm going to give it a good, and as you can see, because the kit was in the fridge, it's more gloopier than it would be out the fridge, but the fridge keeps it fresher. So, you know, but again, as you can see, it's still not got it all out. So get a bit more. Over the next 3 or 4 days, I'm in absolutely full on homebrewing mode. I've got 2 kits, 2 juice brews, and the Pinter. So as you can see, it's getting better, but it is gloopy, and it's starting to clean it off now. So we're going there, slowly but surely. Don't call me Shirley. It's a lovely smell to it though. What's that? Beautiful smell to it. Well, I'm going to add cold water this time, because I put hot water in there to get rid of the glue. Now to wash it out, I'm just going to use a bit of cold now. Took quite a bit of washing this time, so you will find, I think you will find when it's been in the fridge, and maybe it's just because it's the space hopper, being a stronger malt, you know, a 7%er, that it's got a bit more to it. It's not as thin as the other kits that would be, I suppose. Gotta say, lovely smell, lovely aroma coming from it already, and that's just the kit. to actually finish off with absolutely freezing water. Carry on. I've just gone a touch above the line, so oh, nice smell to it. I put the hydrometer in just for measure, see if they don't lose the hydrometer. Coming up about 1050, so it's not that not a massive amount of sugar in there really. So just going to make sure that I didn't overdo it with the, oh yeah, it's fine, yeah. When I put the hot water in, I didn't want to make sure there's you know, that balance. It's got to be lukewarm. It's nice and lukewarm. Right, chuck in the yeast. So there's the yeast again with one of these tops that you need a fork for. Like I say, I'm going to leave it for a week down the shed to brew, especially in this heat. Let's put a bit more cold water in, to be fair. It doesn't seem to have where's my thing? Just a spot more cold water. Yeah, because of the foam. See, last time I did it up to the rim. That probably why some spewed out the back. So that's all clean there. I'll show you bring you over. Oh dear, hay fever, horrible this time of the year. And there you go, it's just slightly above the line. The yeast is on the top. I'm going to put the lid on and I give it a good swirl. Put the brewing dock on, and there's a more homebrewer's way of doing it. Am I right still? Probably not. There's probably something I've done wrong, bobbed it up on some scale. So as you can see, oh my god, that's got some weight in it now. God, you forget about the weight, don't you? That's going straight up the ways now. Yeah. 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 There's a little bit that sticks out and it's just pointing right at that. In fact, it could go slightly more. So let me just, there we go. That's it. It's perfectly nice. So there's an arrow on the top there, and then there's a little bit that sticks out, and it's perfectly in line with that now. Right, brewing dock, and again line it up, push down. There it is. And then it's a case of turning this fellow upside down. It's going to swish into the brewing dock like it did before. Hear that? Yeah. Obviously the brewing dock is there to catch the yeast element, and then it like opens up the valve and it brews in, but the most of the sediment and yeast stays in the bottom of the brew dock. Clever. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm sure I'm not. Heyo, you can be wrong in your life, can't you? Hey, you know. And one more times and I'm right. That is Brewing with a Pinter, Space Opera Edition. So 2 weeks today? Yes, or probably a week and a half. I don't think it'll need 2 weeks, to be fair. The conditioning, you can crash the conditioning. But what I would say with the conditioning is keep it in the fridge until you put it in the shed, until you want to crack it open. Don't do what I did. I took it down the shed for a few days. Keep it in the fridge until you need it. But cold crash it 24 hours, like this in the fridge for 24 hours. That's what my good friend Liam Musco says. And yeah, I agree with him. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's different. It's like a basics way of doing home brewing, but you get the snazzy little doodah as well. So yeah, I mean, when you progress, you'd probably brew it in a homebrew bucket and then put it in there at the secondary fermentation, which is what I would probably do, and let it ferment in there, and then it would do the seal. And that carbonated bit on the back, it would blow out of there if needed to, I would have thought. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. See you soon. Second one than that, no more homebrew tonight. I need to do some beer drinking. Never mind homebrew.